Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Crestwood Board of Education to order and ask us all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Madam Secretary, would you like to take roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Berry here, Ms. Fawaz,
Here.
Mr. Garcia,
He's here.
Mr. Garcia, I know I heard him.
Yeah, he's here, but
Okay, Ms. Janoon,
Here.
Ms. Kaminsky,
Here.
and President Antonik, or VP,
Oh,
Vice
God.
President Antonik.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Krasanik.
oh, dear. I'm here.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. And the approval of the agenda, Ms. Berry.
We're not doing an agenda approval right now, are we, Krista?
Special meeting criteria.
Okay. Approval of agenda, Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed on the November 18th, 2020 board agenda.
Support. Can I support him? Now that I'm
Yeah,
Support.
yeah, why,
Sue's supporting, that's Sue's support. It's been moved by Nadia and supported by Sue that we accept the board agenda. Is there any discussion?
all
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now establish criteria for selection of candidates.
Support.
No, the recommended action is, you've got to read
Okay,
someone.
I recommend that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the criteria for selection of a new board member.
Support.
Janoon?
Madam President, my apologies. You can please note to the record that I am in attendance, calling
Yes.
from mobile phone. This
Yes.
is Trustee Garcia.
Okay, it's been moved by Nadia and supported by Najah that we approve the criteria for selection of a new board member. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
So everybody's in agreement.
Okay, now what do we do now?
Now we're supposed to
Candidates
talk,
approved to interview.
well, are we gonna talk about
Yeah,
the
we're gonna,
criteria?
I think that's what we need to do right now.
Right. Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I myself am okay with the questions. We did this not that long ago, and we discussed what we were going to ask. So, if you want to read through them, I personally don't have a problem with any of them, but if anybody else does, we can discuss it, I guess.
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Kaminsky.
so in looking at this, I thought we allowed 20 minutes last time, and I'm concerned that we're not going to be able to get all 9 questions
Yeah.
in the 15-minute slot.
That, having gone through this, I do agree. I think last time there was a little more time given. So I don't know if maybe we want to eliminate a couple of questions that, do we want to go through them really quickly, or do we?
I'm just,
So obviously.
Can we change it to 20 minutes? I mean, would that be, I feel bad for the last candidate, because then they're 10 minutes delayed, but we could ask Kristen to let them know now. Or do you
That's
think
fine,
it's
I
not
think.
necessary?
Yeah,
does anybody have a question that they think we could exclude from this format?
Well, do we want to go over them one by one, or do you guys just want to read them individually, and then if anybody has any questions?
I like the first two.
well, let's
I
go
like the
through them
third
one by one, I guess. The first one would be briefly tell us about yourself,
Yeah,
highlighting your
I-
involvement with the activities of Crestwood Schools in any specific areas that would help us gain knowledge regarding your candidacy. I personally like this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
absolutely.
too.
So do you guys kind of think that we can blend 1 and 2 together?
Yeah, we could probably do that.
I'm just thinking, like, you could probably based on, giving a background of themselves, they may kind of include in their why.
Yeah, let's converge 1 and 2 together. I think that's a really good option. Because it really, as they're telling about themselves, I'm sure that the reason they decided to come forward is going to be included in that, don't you?
Well, when you look
We'll
at
make
number,
sure it is included.
right, when I look at number 2 and number 9, that to me more relates, why do you want to serve on the school board? And what is the role of a school board member? Or do you want to?
I don't know, you guys. I hate to be a pain, but I kind of think each of them are important in their own right. I mean, why do you want
That's
to be on
fine.
the board?
Kristen's saying,
And what's the role are different?
I'm sorry. I think you guys could cut out number 6.
I did let each candidate know when I talked to them that sometimes the board runs a little late,
Good.
if something's going on, and, that was not an exact time.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, then let's
I
do
kind
it.
of agree with Selwa though, number 6 too. I mean.
Yeah, number 6, I mean, how in the world? I mean,
Yeah.
I agree also.
I
mean,
think that's important. I
It-
think finding out what you're gonna do,
What approach would
To,
you take? Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
I
that's
think
fine.
to me, that's a very important question. How
That's
are you gonna
fine.
be involved to promote this district?
It won't hurt to just to leave them and give them the 20
Yeah.
minutes and just go from there.
I
That's fine.
agree.
I mean, sometimes somebody's gonna take up the entire 20 minutes and somebody might, or 15, whatever, and the other might not. So it might balance itself out and work out.
and I guess
Okay.
if someone has to wait 10 minutes, it's not the end of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, that's fine. It's,
okay, so now we're not going to exclude a question
no,
or
well,
two.
yeah, that's fine.
All right,
I
so
think
everybody's okay with,
I'm fine with it.
everybody?
And I know you guys don't want to add, but, and I know we talked about this before in preparation for the last time, but what about discussing higher education or certificates or anything like that?
That should not,
I don't feel that would be necessary as we discussed it before.
that doesn't,
Yeah, that, nothing about
What
higher,
is
I don't
higher
wanna mention.
education?
Any person that
The
that
thing
is,
is it doesn't have to be a requirement to apply, so
no.
if it
No.
doesn't have to be a requirement to apply, then I don't think we should ask. But if somebody
Not at
wants to
all.
include that when they're interviewing, then I think that,
And
I'm
don't
sure
have
that
a
they
look
col-
would.
Just personally, I don't have a college background, and I think I was one of the best board members that ever sat in this chair. So I'm
Thank you.
really adverse to even hearing those words after what was said before my election. And I'll talk about that on the night that I leave, but I'm gonna get it in.
You got it.
Thank you, Eddie. Okay, so, about the candidates, does someone want to make a recommendation on the approval of the candidates?
Madam
Madam
President?
Chair,
Yes, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, I would recommend that the candidates that have placed their names on the process list be moved forward for interview by the Board of Education.
support,
Okay. It's been moved by Ed and supported by Nadia that the Crestwood Board of Education approve the selected candidates to interview for the Board of Education vacant position. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And
Did we
this-
vote on the criteria?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it was the second action item, or the first action item. Okay, is there any more questions before we adjourn this meeting? None?
No,
Madam President?
Yes, Mr. Garcia.
So my only question will be, I will be calling you back then, and we will be using the same phone number and password to get in, correct?
I would,
Yes.
yes,
I think
yes.
there was another invitation that was sent for the 5:15 one.
was there? No.
That may be a,
You can
okay.
keep going.
Okay, no, I have no other questions. I can also contact Kristen, so thank you.
Can
Okay.
I ask a question?
Sure,
Does anybody know any of the candidates?
I do not.
do I know them personally? No. Do I know who one of them is? Yes.
Same.
Have I had
I
dinner
would
with
have to
them?
say
Absolutely
yeah,
not.
I'd probably have to
And
say
no,
the
I'm not
same.
gonna say who it is that I know. So don't ask.
Okay. I guess
I
I'm
know none of the
disappointed that
candidates.
we didn't have more candidates, and I'm disappointed that the candidates we have are not ones that have been visible at meetings and active participating in the district that I am aware of.
I'm telling you, that's been a problem, Mrs. Kaminsky, with me. There have been 2 board members that have been elected that never came or came to 1 or 2 school board meetings. I just don't get what is the interest. If you don't come to school board meetings and you don't want to know what we do here, why did you run? And I came to meetings for 6 years before I was elected to this school board. And it was because I was concerned about my young children and the things that were changing in the district, and I wanted a voice. And that's what you have to do, come to the school board meeting.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think we should give the candidates a chance to, say what they have to say, and we should listen to their reasoning. Maybe there's something that we don't know, and maybe they'll enlighten us.
I guess
So-
I'll just say this, being that when I applied for the vacancy, I was probably one of the only parents who was attending meetings, so I think it's a little difficult. We're in a position where we have a vacant seat and we need to fill it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because
unfortunately, there wasn't anybody else that was active, and in regards to attending meetings, there really wasn't, so unfortunately,
Although it
we
is
have
No,
to
we
fill it.
have to make the best of it, I
Right.
agree, and, obviously, we're gonna vote on this, and one of these 3 people will be our next board member.
Here's the thing, Sue. Do-
Just look how far you've come, you used to be so shy and bashful.
I still am, I swear, no.
I think I went for 1 appointment, and I know how horribly nervous and, I feel for these people that are coming forward, because
Yeah.
it is very difficult to come and stand before people that they don't really know and give tell them how great they would be on the school board. I was a nervous wreck, and I knew when I went up there that I wasn't going to be picked, which is another hard thing to swallow, but I knew it, and I was gonna do it anyway. So I think
Well,
that,
that takes guts. Hey, are the candidates coming to Riverside, or are they zooming in?
They're coming
you're
in,
coming.
Okay, good.
which I think is
Sorry I couldn't be
better.
there, you guys.
I
And
know.
one more thing, you guys, I don't know how you feel about this, how the board feels about this, but having to, when a new position arose, and it was an election time, I think there should have been a little bit more time. I mean, I would have had to resign my seat, which who would want to do such a thing, and then go for the appointment? I don't think that was fair, and I think that should change, especially during an election. I mean, I was running. How can I resign my seat, and I'm running for school board, resign my seat and go up for the appointment? It wasn't fair, and if it was fair, I would be up here tonight applying for this seat. Just saying.
I think the problem is the timing. Like you said, it was all timing, and then not just that, it's, the
I
seat has
agree.
to be filled in 30 days, and now we're coming up on those 30 days.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but in this situation, it was, I don't know, it just wasn't fair. I feel, anyway.
No, when my head wasn't in the game, I somehow didn't even know the position had been posted. I think because I was sidetracked a bit, but yeah, it was quick, Colleen.
There was a lot going on.
It was really, really sad that came in, and I knew about it. Kristen had told me this, but I wasn't thinking about it at the time. You're thinking, you're running for an office. I'm not gonna think about resigning, and, it went right over my head, and then after it happened, and Najat told me, you can't go up for this position, Colleen, because you would have had to resign. I went, huh? And then I remembered Kristen had called me and gone over what was gonna happen, and she said, unfortunately, this has to be done like yesterday. And I just think that was, I don't know if that's something that can be changed, or in the circumstance of an election, if it could be changed, but I don't think it was fair, and I just wanna voice that.
Well, I think it's so unusual, obviously, people don't pass away very often, and I just think all of it was, just coincidental and bad timing. Hey,
But
one
if
other
it was you
thing
that
for
was gonna go up
FYI,
for the position,
did you guys
Mrs.
see
Kaminsky, I
Farmington
think you'd have
Hill?
felt differently.
We
Did
lost
you
it
guys
again.
see Farmington, that the superintendent and 2 board members resigned?
Yeah,
What?
Yes.
Farmington.
What happened?
That was crazy.
They're what? They resigned?
No, Farmington. You're not moving to Farmington, so sit down, okay?
No, you don't have to worry about that. But I will be
Anyway,
very
can I,
active.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn at
Support.
4:47.
It's
So
been
is it
moved by
the same,
Nadia.
same one that we call into, or was there another one?
No,
We have
same
another
one.
meeting.
David said same.
Excuse me, everyone. It's been moved by Nadia, supported by Sue, that we adjourn. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned. Good evening. I would like to invite you to this evening's meeting of the Crestwood Board of Education. I call this meeting to order at 5:01 and ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
To the
United
flag
States of
of the
America
United States of
and
America
to the republic for
and
which
to
it
the republic
stands,
for which it
one
stands,
nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mrs. Berry, roll please.
Mrs. Berry here, Ms. Fawaz,
Here.
Mr. Garcia,
Present?
Ms. Janoon,
Here.
Ms. Kaminsky,
Here.
Ms. Krasanik.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. And now the approval of the agenda.
Purpose? Are we gonna do the purpose?
Pardon me?
Purpose is to interview candidates for the Board of Education trustee position created by the passing of Mrs. Donna Ansonik. Approval of agenda recommendation. Board of Education approval is recommended for the items listed in the November 18th, 2020 board agenda.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Nadia and supported by Najah that the Board of Education approve the recommended items listed on the November 18th board agenda, 2020. All those in favor signify by saying, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pardon me? Okay, we've got our first candidate.
Motion carries, yep. Oh,
Good evening.
good
How are
evening.
you tonight?
Hi, good, how are
We're
you?
doing pretty good.
Yes, that's.
Yes. You'll have to bear with us, we don't do this often, so. Should we start right away with questions, or with our
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
roll of questions? All righty. Just one moment, please, and let me get down. Okay, this is Bertram Brewer.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, briefly tell us about yourself, highlighting your involvement with the activities of the Crestwood schools and any specific areas that would help us gain knowledge regarding your candidacy.
Well, for my career, I've been a police officer for Detroit Public School Community District. Just retired from there. I'm just a hands-on, helping kind of person. I like to just see people do good and find good in everyone. Whether it's bad or good, the bad still have a good part. And I feel if I can work on that good part, I can bring out more good than bad in a person.
That's wonderful.
My involvement into the district, I have 2 kids that graduated in 12 and 14, and I also have one here at Riverside and the 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me 1 second. Mr. Brewer, some of us are remote. Could you talk into the mic just a little bit more?
I apologize, ma'am.
No problem. That's
Can you hear
much
me
better.
now?
Yep, I can.
Okay.
So I heard that you've got 2 kids that graduated, and then you faded out.
And another one at Riverside.
Yes,
Thank you.
I have one in 5th grade.
Okay. Why do you want to serve on the school board? What prompted this decision?
Well, this decision was prompted due to, I feel I have a lot to give to the school board, especially the students. The majority of my career has been dealing with the students, and I like to see every one of them succeed. So I want to do my part in making sure that everyone succeeds.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay. What do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the Crestwood School District?
I feel that diversity, teaching all how to get along as one. I think that'd be the greatest challenge because, as we all aware, we are raised different. Everyone is raised different. There's no two raised the same. And I want to put my hand in that mix so I can feel that I have tried everything in my power to make everyone get along, because at this point in time, I just wish everyone would just get along.
Well, we need to tell some adults that too. Okay, thank you. Because of the issues we deal with, confidentiality is a requirement. How would you safeguard the confidential business of the district?
Well, ma'am, I used to be on the mayor detail when I was with Detroit Police Department, as well as the school board for the CEO. So I have knowledge and, time under that umbrella where I was sworn to, and I understand how not to tell what's going on, in other words.
Yes, okay, thank you. What experience have you had in working with diverse persons, students, or families, including other ethnic groups and exceptional children?
Well, by working for the district, I had a lot of experience, almost every day. Some schools are different than others. You have your Southwest District, your West Side, your East Side, your Central, and all of them have different cultures. So I took it upon myself to go to school to learn different ways of handling different situations with different groups. So therefore, I know that I'm doing the best that I can in any situation that comes about.
Thank you. What approach would you take to helping pass millage renewals, millage increases, or other elections?
Whatever's gonna be fair, that's whatever approach I'm gonna take, whatever's fair. On either side, whether they believe what I believe in or not, whatever's fair, that's what the route I'm gonna take.
If cuts in programs for students became necessary for financial reasons, what would you cut?
Well, I've been through this before. You actually have to look at the budget and see where the money's going. And then at that point, some decisions is not gonna be popular. You have to do what you have to do to maintain a budget. So it all depends on where the number's coming from, how this number play, how this number play. It's all in the numbers to decide what do we cut.
Okay, thank you. At times you will be caught between legitimately opposing points of view. There may be a difference between your personal point of view and the policy or law that you are required to uphold as a board member. How will you handle this?
I have to go by the law. Whatever the law is, that's what I have to stick to, regardless on how I feel. Law of the land trumps everything else to me.
I agree. Okay, thank you. What is the role of a school board member?
I think a school board member, the role is to maintain, budgets. They have so many different subcommittees to help out on the district front. But I also think that the board member can be a counselor, a mother, a father, or just an open ear. Sometimes people need open ears just to get through that day. And that's what I'm willing to do if I become one.
That's a good answer. Thank you. Well, those are our questions. Is there anything you would like to ask us?
No, no, there's really not, because I have done my homework and I'm good with everybody that's on the board. And I like your fairness. Sometimes you can't be fair. I understand it, even if I don't like it. But I just thank you for doing the job that you have been doing. You guys too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks,
acknowledging
Brewer.
that.
Well, that ends this part of it, Mr. Brewer, and I thank you for your time, and thank you for coming forward and wanting to be a part of this
Yes.
so much.
Anytime,
Yes,
any
thank you
way I
for
can help.
stepping up. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Very
A
good.
release?
I was gonna say, Colleen, do you wanna give a little information, like, are we, depending on the circumstances, we may make a decision
We
tonight?
may make a decision tonight, I'm not sure, as we talk after all the interviews are done. If we do,
He'll receive a
can
call.
he wait and see, or
Or
is
he'll
it something, or we
receive
could
a-
call you?
I'm sure Kristen, do you call when a decision is made?
I can call tonight or in the morning.
Okay.
Okay,
You can
So-
call whenever.
okay, okay, Mr. Brewer, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming
Okay.
in.
I'm
Thank
free to
you.
go?
Yes,
Yes.
you are
Okay.
free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate you guys.
Stay
coming.
safe.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good evening. I've got several questions I'm going to ask you, okay? Sure. Alrighty. Briefly tell us about yourself, highlighting your involvement with the activities of the Crestwood schools and any specific areas that you would, that would help us gain knowledge regarding your candidacy.
Sure. If you don't mind, I'd just like to take a moment. I know that this seat is open because of the passing of Donna, and I just wanted to take a minute to offer my condolences to you all, to the board. I know that if I get this, it's big shoes to fill, but I hope I can do her justice.
Oh, so sweet, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, I was walking in and... Okay, so my involvement in the Crestwood School District. Well, first of all, I've been a Crestwood parent for 20 years. I've had 2 kids graduate from the district. I still have 1 student attending Crestwood High School. I've always been involved in the schools since my kids were young children. Field trips, tin can raffles, school stores, helping teachers fundraise for school supplies that they were missing, gaps that they had in their classrooms, always trying to support the school, the teachers, and trying to get the parents a little more involved by attending PTA meetings, by attending meetings where parents were solicited for surveys on what they thought should happen and questionnaires. My real deep involvement with the school district began about 8 years ago when my husband and I founded a charity called the Amity Foundation. And the basis of finding and starting this charity was because there was a student who was on a field trip that had shoes that were barely covering his feet. And we just felt horrible about it. And we wanted to know what we could do to help. So we got our own children involved, and on the basis that we wanted our children to be able to help other children. And one of the missions of the foundation is to encourage students to help other students. And we've been running for 8 years now. We've supported the district with providing for supplies and equipment, meals, hats, coats, gloves. It was our passion to help the students of this district, especially because our kids attended this district. So we've been running for 8 years successfully. Right now, we're gearing up for our Thanksgiving meals. We plan to distribute over 100 meals district-wide for families. And it's just something that we've always felt was important. Because if we don't support our children, we're not supporting our future. So the time you put in is hopefully time that you'll get out. The effort you put in is hopefully the effort that you'll get out of it. So,
Wow, That is a wonder, I'm very familiar with your organization. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And just lastly, I'd like to tell you professionally, I am Chief of Staff at Homeland Security Emergency Management, heavily involved with school preparedness, school planning, active shooter planning, COVID planning, part of the Michigan My Start COVID safety planning. I do sit on that committee. I am the liaison with the health department in opening and developing plans for schools to reopen and stay safe during COVID. So professionally, I'm also very involved with the schools. I am the liaison for the school district, school drill reporting, which is very important. Districts have to report all their schools to our, all their drills to our office, and Crestwood does a great job of that. But so also professionally, I'm very involved in the schools.
Yes, I'm glad you added that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Why do you want to serve on the school board? What prompted this decision?
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't one of those parents who went to every school board meeting, you know, and was waiting outside of the door. I do admit that. And if I have to say, the reason I'm here today is because you all have inspired me to be able to come and sit here and make decisions for our kids. I've watched you guys in the past year diligently. I didn't before then, but you've been very encouraging. I'm inspired by the work that you do here, and I've dedicated so many years to the district as a parent, so many years to the district as a volunteer. I felt like this would be the perfect next step to get involved with the district.
Wow, thank you. What do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the Crestwood School District?
So obviously, COVID-19 is the greatest challenge everybody's facing, whether you're in a school district, whether you're in a long-term care facility, whether you are in a company who's having to close down because of COVID. Everybody is COVID scared right now, and I believe that is the biggest challenge. It is the biggest challenge because it deals with the safety of our kids, and the kids' safety has to come first. I know that individually, we may feel different about COVID. Should we open? Should we close? Can kids learn? Can they not learn? Me as a mother, I have my own my personal feelings on it. But as a professional, I sometimes have to put those personal feelings aside. And I can't decide what's best for my daughter who's in the district. I have to think about all of the kids. And in fact, in my own position, I have to think about all of the students throughout Wayne County, not only the Crestwood district. So we do have a fight ahead of us. We're hopeful that a vaccine will come out. However, we don't know what's going to happen. And these are scary times because the unknown is always scary. So I believe that is the biggest challenge. And I also believe that I have enough knowledge and experience to help you bridge that gap of the unknown. And I would be able to bring to the table something that would help you fight this COVID-19 pandemic and keep our kids safe.
Your expertise would be very, very enlightening. I change my mind every day about should they go back to school, should they not. One day someone says they should all go back. It's not, I vacillate.
It's not easy.
It is not easy. So thank you for that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the issues we deal with, confidentiality is a requirement. How would you safeguard the confidential business of the district?
Well, I work for the Department of Homeland Security, so confidentiality is, one of my strong suits. Actually, my husband and my children make fun of me because we're working a lot from home now, our department, and we've actually experienced a couple of, COVID scares with staff. And my kids just think it's so funny that when we're discussing stuff, I actually go in the office and close the door and put a sign on the door that says nobody can come in. So confidentiality is not a problem for me.
Oh, wonderful, thank you. What experience have you had in working with diverse persons, students, or families, including other ethnic groups and exceptional children?
So I'm unique in that I'm able to work with every type of group, every ethnicity, because I work with people countywide. So take Wayne County into account, and I've met all types of people, all types of cultures, and I've actually enjoyed seeing them come together to make decisions, especially on some of the boards and committees, seeing the families and the students interact together, learning about each other. I'm a Muslim daughter, and my parents made sure that I met and talked to all different people. They didn't just want me to only know Arab Muslim people. In fact, one of the things that my mother did that was a wonderful thing is she started this group called the Culture Club. And the Culture Club was a bunch of women from different cultures who would get together once a month, and they would experience everybody's culture for a day. And as a kid, of course, we used to make fun of her a little bit for it, but I can't tell you how much now, especially in my career, professionally and personally, how much I appreciate that she did that. And I also stress to my kids that, it's very important to meet everybody and to learn about everybody. And the more you know them and the more you learn about them, the more you respect them. We're not all alike, but we're all human.
How true that is. What approach would you take to helping pass millage renewals, millage increases, or other elections?
We have a strong community pool. I know a lot of people. We actually made a lot of phone calls and knocked on a lot of doors for the last millage. My husband and I, we just tried to gather as many people as we could and show support for the millage, and thankfully it passed. So we'd like to think that we had a little bit something to do with it.
You did.
But we would definitely advocate for it, work for it. We'd work tirelessly for it, because without those millages passing, our kids' education is in jeopardy, and we don't want that.
Right, thank you. If cuts in programs for students became necessary for financial reasons, what would you cut?
So I've actually sat on a couple of reorganization teams for, one for Wayne County, when Wayne County had to reorganize and was going through some hard times. I actually sat on the reorganization team. I was actually one of the team leads for the reorganization team. And I believe what you need to do is, I can't sit here today and tell you what program I would cut, but I can tell you that there is a process involved, and it can't be something that's taken lightly. And the process is, you have to identify what are your essential services. What is the most essential thing for the students to learn, for the students' well-being, and the students to continue to get a good education here. And I believe that in that process, you would have to identify those essential services and make sure that those services stay. And unfortunately, there are some services that are not essential, and I hate to say it that way, but it is just the truth. And unfortunately, you do have to cut things. You do have to maintain a budget. I maintain a budget right now for my department, and it is difficult to do. Budget time is always a little crazy. It gives a little bit of heartburn, but it is something that has to be done.
Okay, thank you so much. At times, you will be caught between legitimately opposing points of view. There may be a difference between your personal point of view and the policy or law that you are required to uphold as a board member. How will you handle this?
I would always be on the side of the law. I would never compromise that, ever. So even though I may feel that's in my normal day-to-day life, and I think that's with everybody. I don't think everybody agrees with every single mandate and law that's out there, but we do have to be law-abiding citizens, and we will abide by the law. And just as I am in my personal life, I would definitely abide by the laws here on the board.
Okay, thank you. What is the role of a school board member?
So the role of a school board member. Role of a school board member is to provide for a good education, for the good welfare and safety of the students that attend the district. I'd like to expound on that and actually say not only the students that attend the district, but the employees of the district, the teachers, the principals, the custodians. Nobody can be left out of that. So also, obviously, to manage a budget, to enter into agreements, contractual agreements, interlocal agreements, mutual aid agreements, so much that a school board member has to do. Make decisions on transportation for students. Those are just a few off of the top of my head.
Well, that is the end of our questions. Do you
Oh.
have any questions that you would like to ask us?
I was just gonna ask you about the process. I didn't know would you be making a decision tonight? Would you make a decision next week? I saw a couple of dates on some of the,
Well, I'm kind of hoping that we can make a decision tonight.
oh, okay.
But if we can't, we've got till Monday night to announce who we've picked. So, but personally, I would like to decide tonight, but if there's a controversy over one or two, two candidates, we will discuss it further, but I'm hoping tonight.
Okay, great.
And so somebody will call you.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
So if we choose tonight, then the person that is chosen will be part of the meeting on Monday?
Yes, they will be sworn in on Monday evening.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
Can I ask a question?
No, I think you did great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to say that, I'm sorry, I was reading in your biography, you said something about you teach.
Oh, so I taught English language to English learners
Okay.
at Henry Ford Community College, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
now
I heard
Henry
that.
Ford College.
Okay.
And part of my master's work was also bilingual, bicultural education. So learning how people learn languages, learning how people learn cultures.
That's interesting to me, because I worked at a daycare for 11 years, and there were little Middle Eastern children that would come in that knew no English. And I'm being totally honest with you, within a month, they could communicate with us. They learn so quickly.
Right, so under the age of 12, you can learn a language pretty much like this.
Oh, my goodness.
After the age of 12, it becomes a little more
Yeah,
difficult.
I agree with you. But these little ones would just absorb it so quickly.
Right?
It was so impressive to me that these little minds could work that quickly.
Yeah, it is. It is
So,
amazing.
thank you so
Well,
much.
thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming forward.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you all too. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to meet you personally, but I hope all your questions were answered.
Thank you.
It's so awkward to have us like so split up like that.
And you are
Samira Zatar.
Zatar?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hi.
okay, thank you for that. Well, good evening. We have several questions we'd like to ask you, and you can take however long you need to take to answer them, okay?
Okay.
Briefly tell us about yourself, highlighting your involvement with the activities of the Crestwood schools and any specific areas that would help us gain knowledge regarding your candidacy.
My kids went to Crestwood. They are now 20 and 18, so I'm involved with all the activities, whatever they have in school, and yeah, that's what I'm involved to.
Do you feel comfortable taking your mask off?
No, I'm fine.
Because I
You
can't.
want me to take it off?
I can't hear you well. There
Ah,
you
okay.
go. It's
No
kind of
problem.
muffled. I
Yeah.
know, I forget, well, no, I never forget that I have it on. I hate them, but anyway, we have to wear them, and I know that. Okay, have you finished answering? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my kids went to Crestwood. We've been here since 2000, so now they are 20 and 18. So I was involved with everything in schools since they were in Kinloch and Riverside and the high school. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever they have.
I did the same thing. Kinloch, Riverside, and Crestwood.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you want to serve on the school board? What prompted this decision?
I took this decision. First I have time. Now my kids are grown up. They going to colleges and stuff, and I like to work with the community. I like to get involved with people and all that. So I graduated with communication arts. So I have it. You know, I like people. I like to talk to people, to interact with people.
Okay, thank you. What do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the Crestwood School District?
I think it's too crowded. That's what I think. When I was going to classes, it looks like very crowded. It needs to be more, like we need more room, more space for the kids here. That's what yeah.
We're working on that. Okay, because of the issues we deal with, confidentiality is a requirement. How would you safeguard the confidential business of the school district?
Of course, everything we do, it needs confidence. You have to be confident about it, so you can't just spread whatever you wanna do or whenever you wanna have. Yeah.
What experiences have you had in working with diverse persons, students or families, including other ethnic groups and exceptional children?
I didn't have really experience with exception students. All I have is my kids and the kids around them, and all the community is here. So sometimes I'm involved with like when there's elections, stuff like that. I'm involved with people, and but specific with the exception kids, no, I didn't have any experience with them.
Okay. What approach would you take to helping pass millage renewals, millage increases, or other elections?
Could you please explain more about this question?
Well, it's, this board and the community passes millages so we have more money to spend on our students.
Okay,
So, and they're very hard to pass, I might add.
okay.
But we work diligently, and we did pass the last one, but how would you work to help pass millage renewals and increases in other elections?
Help, maybe for fundraising and stuff like that around here in the community.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would help.
Okay, if cuts in programs for students became necessary for financial reasons, what would you cut?
The financial, what would I cut?
If we had to cut something out of our program, what would you cut if we had to?
I think everything Crestwood is doing is they're doing the specific, so there's nothing you can just cut. Maybe we need more budget. I think so, but to cut, there's nothing, you know, really you can cut, because there's my daughter. She was here. She was since she was in the 5th grade. She had the talent show.
Oh, yeah.
That was very nice to gather and stuff, and the football and whatever we have in Crestwood. It's, you know, it's not, we don't have too much to cut. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. Okay. At times you will be caught between legitimately opposing points of view. There may be a difference between your personal point of view and the policy or law that you are required to uphold as a board member. How would you handle that?
I'll go with the policy. I will not look at my personal stuff.
And last question, what is the role of a school board member?
What's the role? I think it's they are between the wherever we have in the city and with the parents here. we are in the middle. So we have to be flexible and deal with people and we deal with the city council, all that stuff.
Okay. Well, you are Samira Zatar,
Correct.
and I just wanted to say the name. I didn't get the last person's
So
name.
it's in
until-
Arabic zatar. It's the spice, the manaish we call it.
Oh,
So,
okay. But I
but in
think
English it's zatar.
Zatar. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
Let's-
you.
That's the end of our questions. Do you have anything you'd like to ask us?
No, thank you.
Okay,
It
thank you
was
so much.
my pleasure to meet you guys.
Oh, pleasure to meet you
Thank you.
also. We'll let you know what our decision is.
Okay.
Okay? Don't forget to put your mask back on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a standout for me. What about you guys?
If we're gonna start discussing the candidates,
Are we discussing? You guys are
Yeah.
going to discussion?
Yeah, we're discussing. That's what I'm doing. I'm
Okay.
discussing.
oh, I agree with you. There's a
Madam
standout for
Chair?
me too.
Yes.
I think all three candidates bring forth a lot of different qualities. I think it's great that we have people so interested, but the second candidate to me had so much more experience with diversity, with our specific community, with fundraising, with everything basically. That for me, I think Danielle Alizat is, I think, the outstanding candidate.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I did what you say, Sue. I was impressed, with, I like how she answered the challenge question. COVID-19 is huge, and, to see that she could answer that, and she knows from county experience, because actually, we're gonna be getting our information from the county on how we are to move forward. So to see that she was able to bring that up and answer all those questions without any hesitation, leads me to believe that she definitely is confident in what
Yep.
her role would be.
So, Madam Chair.
Najah?
So, first of all, I commend all three of them for coming in to
Yes.
interview, because I know that,
How nervous.
I
it
know
is.
what it feels like to be sitting on the other end of that, and, very nerve-wracking, but I feel like, again, I agree with all of you guys. I feel like Danielle Elzayat definitely brings, she brings a different perspective, you know, when it comes to COVID-19. I mean, I think we all, like she said, we all have our own personal feelings about it, as to how we would handle it for our own families, but she knows a little bit more looking from the outside, in. I also, you know, she is a mother of students in the district as well, and being with, just from personal experience of, seeing, you know, in our own Friday updates, that the foundation that her and her husband have,
Oh, that's the
that-
best.
yeah, that
Yep.
You
they've
didn't
had.
mention that. That was big for me.
Yeah, they've done a lot for the district, they've done a lot for the kids in the community, and that's what we're all here for, at the end of the day, is for the kids.
And
So-
personally, I have to say, I have had Mr. Elzayat reach out to me, and I mentioned it at several board meetings, about, I did email the whole district staff at the time, with needs for children, and he came through for all of them. They were bagged by building,
Yeah.
delivered to me, and I delivered them to the buildings. But I have to say, all three candidates, like you said, Sue, bring a wealth of knowledge. You know, the first candidate, you know, I love his background.
Yep, me too.
I just wish that there was more, you know, involvement from all, but like I say, she did stand out. They were all good
I think-
candidates, but she did stand out.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Brewer, his, just being a man and coming in here was, a fresh aspect. I was very impressed by him. He seems like a kind soul that would do good with
Yes.
kids. But Danielle answered every question in the way I would want to hear it answered.
Yeah.
And I was like amazed, because my feelings at the beginning of this whole thing, I had a feeling about another person that I was very interested in, and I still think that person was wonderful, but I just think she blew, just like Yusuf did. She was up here, and you had to come and reach that, and I don't think anybody did.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'll add to all of that. I think candidate number one, I really enjoyed his background with law enforcement and the fact that he had children graduate and still has such a young child in the district. And being retired, obviously that allows for more time that he'd be able to spend. Candidate number two absolutely stood out. Her professional background is very refreshing, and I would be excited for her to apply all of those principles to subject matter school board. I think that would make a huge difference with what she already knows and being able to apply it with us. And candidate number three, I think it was really nice to have such a refreshing, positive outlook that she had, and her excitement and eagerness to help and do for the school and the families in the community.
That was great. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the only thing that scares me just a little bit with Danielle is she is so busy, and she's got a job that requires a lot of her time, and that's the only thing, but you can't hold someone back because they've got a good job. So, but she was my top choice.
Where's Mr. Garcia?
He's there.
Oh,
Are you
He's
there,
back
Eddie?
on now.
yes.
Well, I wanted to have an opportunity to say something, so I feel pretty far matched that bouncing in and out of the calls. But even to the chair when the opportunity presents itself to speak.
I didn't get that. What did he say?
He wants to have a chance to say something. So
Okay,
go
Eddie,
ahead.
say something.
Eddie?
He's
I think
going
we
in
might
and
have
out of
lost him again.
areas, so he'll be back.
Mr. Garcia, you have the floor.
I'm still here.
Okay.
You have the floor.
Oh, well, thank you. Madam President, I just wanted to comment that I appreciate all three of the candidates coming forward and having the opportunity to present themselves. Thankful that we do have members of the community that do know what it is to take place within the school.
Yeah, Ed, you're cutting in and out. We're having
Yeah,
a
it's
really
very hard
hard
to hear you,
time
Ed.
hearing you.
I couldn't understand anything he said.
I
don't know if
didn't get
anyone else did.
anything either.
Yeah, he's lost connection.
Yeah, I
Well-
couldn't hear anything other than thank you to all the candidates.
Yeah,
Is that what he said?
yeah.
Madam
Yeah.
Chair.
Is there one that stood out for you, Ed?
He's not on.
He's gone again.
Let's give him a second to come back on and see if he has a better connection, and
Did I do this when I was on the
no,
telephone?
no.
Sometimes.
Well,
Did
no,
I?
Not like that.
Did you guys get
Yeah,
irritated?
there were sometimes.
Because I'm irritated. I'm kidding. I'm glad I'm back in the saddle.
Is he gonna,
If it's only for a couple more weeks.
Is he gonna call back?
Do you want to see if I, do you want somebody, could somebody try to call him from
Let
their
me see if I
phones?
can call him, if you guys don't mind.
I don't know if it'll work or not, but
I'll call him.
Ask him if there's anybody that stands out for him.
there he
Is
is.
that him?
He's back on.
No.
Got him?
There he is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So where I left off was, thank you, Madam President, was that each of them brings, qualities and expertise. But the candidate that I felt just impressed me with the information and her knowledge is candidate number two, and I'll leave it right there.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was the one.
Madam Chair,
Favorite. Yes, ma'am.
with that, can we, I move to bring a candidate forward in the process for appointment as a Board of Education trustee. It is recommended that the Crestwood Board of Education approve candidate Number 2, Danielle Elzayat to be moved forward for consideration as a Board of Education trustee at the regular board meeting that will be held virtually Monday, November 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m.
Support.
Support.
Okay. Wait a minute here. It's been moved by Nadia and supported by Najah that we bring Danielle Elzayat back to our school board meeting on Monday night and give her the oath of office. She's our new school board member,
All in favor?
which we will hold virtually Monday, November 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. We have a new board member.
Congratulations, Danielle.
Congratulations.
Yeah, is she still
Yes.
here?
Congratulations.
Did she go home?
Madam President?
Yes. Ed?
Yes, if I could, is it possible that central office may be able to send out a thank you letter to the other two candidates?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For taking their time out to go through the process?
I think that's a wonderful idea, Mr. Garcia, and I think we should.
Thank you.
I don't think she's here. Where would
No,
they?
did she go?
I don't know why
Kristen's
they
just
think
gonna
she's
check
here.
I wish she would have stayed. Darn it.
So will she be sworn in Monday?
She'll be
Yes.
sworn in Monday evening by our secretary.
So will it be done during the regular meeting?
Pardon me?
Done during the regular meeting?
It'll have to be right at the beginning of the meeting because she's going to be taking her seat and being at the meeting as a board
Madam
member.
Chair,
Madam Chair, if I could,
Yes.
I just
Sue.
want to thank Mo for being at the meeting. It's kind of funny that he was elected and we're going to have a board member before he gets on, but Mo will be joining the board in January.
Thank you, Sue.
yes, welcome aboard.
Wait a minute.
Yes, thank you.
The husband and wife on the school board?
No, she said.
What'd she say?
Mo was sitting in on
Oh.
the meeting right now.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Anything else?
And Emo's a big guy. If anybody tries to hurt any of us, we'll bring him in. Bring Emo in.
Well,
Okay.
now Ed is not the lone man either.
Yeah.
Hear that, Ed?
So are
Oh,
we just,
dear.
Okay,
somebody
Madam Chair, I move to
I had
adjourn.
Dr. Youssef with me, so I'm not worried.
Nadia's made a motion to adjourn. Is there support?
support.
Support.
It's been moved by Nadia, supported by Najah, that we adjourn this meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.